Has it ever happened to you where you got an intuitive hit of some sort, you connected with your intuition, and you took inspired action, you acted right away, and then you got an amazing reward, even though you didn't know what you were acting on? You're like, why am I doing this? This makes no sense. Like if you would have gone through logic, it made no sense, but because you took inspired action, you got a reward. I'd love to hear about that. Please post below. Welcome, I'm Tanya Vasayo. I'm the founder of The Courage to Be Happy, and today I'm talking about taking inspired action. That's why I want to hear about how that has shown up for you in your life, because here's the thing. When we are connected to our intuition, when we follow our intuition, and if you want to hear more about intuition, click on the videos below, you'll see about intuition. The next step in order for that intuition to take fruition and to become a reality and bring it from the non-physical world into the physical world is to take inspired action. And what I mean by inspired action is you need to act within the first 5 seconds, the first 5 minutes max. Like you just have to do whatever that hit was. You got something, you got an idea, and you're like, you know what? Let me call that person, or let me call the friend of mine that's going to hook me to such and such place. And when you do that, that's when you get rewarded. If you don't act within the first 5 seconds or the first 5 minutes, what tends to happen is you'll start getting all these different obstacles. What do I mean by obstacles? Well, the first one will be it's mostly your critter brain and your inner critics. They just get in the way. You are getting in the way of yourself, of this marvelous idea to come into fruition, of creating opportunities. You can listen to the opportunity video, there's the steps. Opportunities show up by following our intuition and taking inspired action. You can't just stay in the intuitive part, because then it doesn't go into fruition. Like Elizabeth Gilbert talks about in her book, Big Magic, she talks about creative minds, and we're all creative, even though she's focused on the writers, of what she sees it as ideas that live out here in the idea world, and they come into your mind, and it's either you take it and you make something with it. It's almost like you were chosen for that idea, and either you do something about it, or the idea will fizzle away and go to someone else to get produced. Hasn't that ever happened to you? Think about it, where you've come up with an idea, you didn't take action with it, and then someone else fulfilled that idea and they got the rewards from it. That's why we have to take inspired action. So what kind of obstacles show up? Our brain is going to get in the middle of it, our critter brain. Like I've mentioned in other videos before, it's gonna show up with asking all the reasons but how am I going to do this? Say you want to start a new business project, a new business idea, a side hustle to make some extra cash. And then you're like, but how? I'm not going to do this. I'm not an entrepreneur. How? I want you to forget about the how. Let go about the how. Leave that to the universe. Excuse me. You want to focus on the what and why. What's that intuition that you got, and why do I want to pursue it? I want to start a new side hustle because it will make me happy, because it sounds exciting, because it'll bring joy to my family, because it'll bring us more money. That's what you have to concern yourself with. The second thing that's going to show up is all the reasons why not to pursue this idea. That's why I'm saying you have to act within the first 5 seconds or the first 5 minutes. Well, you're not made to do, a new business project. You've never been an entrepreneur. How is that going to work? That's going to cost you a lot of money. We're going to go bankrupt along the way. That's going to cost too much energy. Your spouse is not going to support you with this. Yada, 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 yada. I want you to let go of that and realize that it's your brain. And one of the ways to get through this and to hack this and take inspired action is to do it within the first 5 seconds to 5 minutes, right? How many seconds? 5 seconds, 5 minutes, either one of the two. And then the third thing that's going to show up as an obstacle, it's all the negative what ifs. And I want you to turn these negative what ifs into positive what ifs, because you're going to go into, well, what if I start a new business? What if I start a new side hustle? It's going to take away time from me with my kids. It's going to take away time from me with my spouse. My spouse is going to want to divorce me because what if I spend too much time on the business? Or what if I lose all my money because I put so much money into this new side business? It's not going to work. I might as well just not do it. What if I can't, you're going to go into all these negative what ifs. And I invite you to switch it. And instead of what ifs that are negative, replace them with positive what ifs. What if you do start that business and suddenly it flourishes and it takes off and you're making an additional six-figure business and you don't have to work at your job? What if your spouse is so proud of you and you're making so much money with this business that you can retire your spouse and you guys are working together? What if you become an incredible example to your kids and you get to spend time with your kids as well as in your business? You see how that shifts that mindset, of all the negative what ifs? So I hope this is useful, because inspired action is such an important part of the process when we have opportunities show up for us, when we're following our intuition. And again, I'd love to hear if you've taken inspired action in the past. Please share in the comments below and share with me how you've taken inspired action on something that seemed crazy, it didn't even make sense, and how that panned out for you. Because here's the thing, if you break through that fear, you will be so rewarded on the other side. So thank you for spending time with me. I am Tanya Vasayo, the founder of The Courage to Be Happy. If you found this useful, make sure to subscribe. I'm sure you're already subscribed. Share with other people that you think might help. And let's do this together. Let's empower as many women as we can around the world. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon. Take care.